My mom pressed a crumpled bill into my hand and smiled like she was proud of herself. "Here," she said brightly. $20. You're independent now." Independent. That was the word she used. My name is Sydney, and I was 11 years old when my mom dragged her suitcase down the driveway, kissed my forehead like this was no big deal, and left me alone for a month while she went to Europe. No babysitter. No neighbor check-ins. No plan. Just a fake smile, a rolling suitcase, and the front door closing behind her. I stood in the hallway staring at the wrinkled 20 in my palm, my fingers already shaking. $20 wasn't independence. It wasn't safety. It wasn't even groceries. "I'll be fine," I whispered to the empty house. Saying it out loud made it feel less scary. Like maybe the walls would believe me if I said it confidently enough. 10 minutes later, the first problem hit. On the kitchen counter sat the emergency credit card my mom had tossed down before leaving, like it solved everything. I picked up my phone, opened a food app, and typed in the numbers carefully. Declined. 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 I didn't know the PIN. I tried again anyway. Same result. So now it was official. It was just me, a useless card, and $20. Day one, I treated it like a challenge. I lined up the pantry cans like soldiers. I checked the fridge, already half empty, and told myself I could make it work. I sliced bread thin, spread peanut butter carefully, pretended this was some kind of survival game I was supposed to win. I even laughed to myself. This will make a cool story someday, I thought. By day 3, it stopped being funny. The pantry looked sadder every time I opened it. A box of cereal that was mostly air. A couple of cans I didn't know how to open without cutting myself. A jar of pickles I hated. My stomach growled so loud it embarrassed me, even though no one else was there to hear it. To avoid the silence, I left the TV on all day. Noise made the house feel less empty. I opened my mom's laptop and stared at her work emails stacked like they mattered more than anything else in the world. That's when I grabbed my notebook. At the top of the page, I wrote one word in big letters. Evidence. Under it, I listed facts like I was building a case. Left alone at $11, $20, no food plan, no check-ins. I didn't know yet what I was going to do with it. I just knew I needed to remember everything. Because if my mom could leave me this easily, she could deny it just as easily later. That night, I opened the camera on my phone. Day 3, I said quietly. My face on the screen looked smaller than I expected. I'm still alone. The credit card doesn't work. I ate the last real food yesterday. I paused, swallowing hard. If anyone ever sees this, it means someone finally asked what happened to me. I saved the video and locked my phone. Part of me hoped no one would ever see it. Another part of me hoped my mom would. By day 5, hunger felt like fog. I got dizzy when I stood up too fast. I ate cereal dry from the bag, counting handfuls like they were rations. I added another line to my notebook. Day 5. No call. No text. Then one more. If something happens to me, this proves it wasn't my fault. That was the moment everything shifted. This wasn't just about surviving until she came back anymore. This was about what would happen to her when people finally found out what she'd done. On day 7, I stood at the front window watching other kids ride bikes, parents walking dogs, people living normal lives. I whispered into the glass. You chose Europe over me. Do you know what that's going to cost you when someone finds out? That's when the doorbell rang. I froze. Nobody ever rang our doorbell. It rang again. Then 3 sharp knocks. My heart slammed against my ribs as I walked toward the door, cereal crumbs still on my fingers. I thought about pretending I wasn't home. Then another thought pushed through the fear. What if this is the moment someone finally sees me? I opened the door just a crack. Standing on the porch was a man in a green jacket with my school's logo stitched on the chest. Hi, Sydney, he said gently. It's Mr. Hughes. I've been trying to reach your parents. My hand loosened on the door. And for the first time all week, I stepped back and let someone in. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. If this opening hit you emotionally, give it a like, it really helps the channel. Comment below, what would you have done at 11 standing at that door? Mr. Hughes didn't step inside right away. He looked past me into the quiet house, like he was counting the signs adults learn to recognize but kids don't know how to explain. The empty kitchen table. The shoes by the door that hadn't moved in days. The smell of nothing cooking. Is your mom home? he asked gently. I shook my head. Dad. I shook my head again. He knelt so we were eye level. How long have you been by yourself, Sydney? I hesitated. Then I told the truth. A week. His face changed, not dramatic, not angry. Just serious. Like a door closing somewhere behind his eyes. He asked if I'd eaten. I lied first. Then my stomach growled and betrayed me. That happens, I whispered, embarrassed. He stood up slowly. I'm going to make a call, okay? You didn't do anything wrong. Those words hit harder than hunger. You didn't do anything wrong. I watched him step onto the porch, his voice low as he spoke into his phone. I caught fragments through the screen door. 11 years old. Left alone? No guardian present. My legs felt weak. I sat on the stairs and hugged my notebook to my chest. When he came back in, he didn't look at me like I was in trouble. He looked at me like he was angry at someone else. Sydney, he said, we're going to get you some food right now. He drove me to the diner near the school. The one with sticky booths and menus that smelled like syrup. He ordered without asking: eggs, toast, hash browns, milk, juice. Real food. I ate too fast at first, hands shaking, until he gently said, slow down. You're safe. Safe. I hadn't realized how much I needed that word. While I ate, he asked simple questions. Where my mom was. How long she'd planned the trip. If anyone checked in on me. She said I was independent, I said quietly. She said I'd be fine. His jaw tightened. After breakfast, he took me back to school. Not to class, to the counselor's office. Mrs. Patel closed the door, listened carefully, and then asked me to show her what I'd been writing. My notebook. My videos. My evidence. She watched one clip with her hand covering her mouth. When it ended, she didn't say anything for a long time. Then she stood up. I need to make a call, she said. Stay right here. That afternoon blurred into adult voices and paperwork. Social services arrived. A woman named Karen, soft voice, sharp eyes, sat with me and asked questions I answered honestly because lying felt pointless now. She gave me $20, I said. And a card that didn't work. Karen wrote everything down. My mom finally called that evening. Her name flashed on my phone like nothing had happened. I answered because part of me still hoped she'd say sorry. Why is the school calling me? She snapped. What did you tell them? I swallowed. The truth. Her laugh was sharp. You're being dramatic. I left food. You always exaggerate. I recorded everything, I said quietly. I wrote it down. Silence. Then anger. Real anger. You had no right. I was hungry, I said. And alone. She hung up on me. Karen saw my face and took the phone gently from my hands. That's enough for today, she said. That night I didn't go home. I stayed with a temporary foster family, kind people, unfamiliar smells, a spare room that felt safer than my own house ever had. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about how fast things had changed. I wasn't invisible anymore. And my mom knew it. Because now there were records, videos, witnesses. And when she came back from Europe, she wasn't coming home to the story she thought she'd left behind. If this chapter is hitting you emotionally, give it a like, it really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. My mom came back 3 weeks later. Not to hugs. Not to relief. Not to me. She walked into an airport interrogation room with sunburned shoulders, designer sunglasses still perched on her head, and a smile that faded the moment she saw the woman from Child Protective Services standing beside her. Where's my daughter? She demanded. Karen didn't raise her voice. Sydney is safe. My mom crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. She's dramatic. She always has been. Karen slid a tablet across the table. Let's watch, she said. The first video played. Me on day 3. Me explaining the card didn't work. Me whispering because the house felt too big and too quiet. My mom scoffed. Kids exaggerate. Karen tapped the screen. Day 5. Me dizzy. Me holding up the notebook. Me saying, if something happens to me, this proves it wasn't my fault. The room went quiet. Karen didn't pause it when my mom looked away. Then came the list. Dates. Amounts. Witness statements. School reports. The diner receipt Mr. Hughes had paid for because I hadn't eaten in days. Finally, Karen looked at her. You left an 11-year-old alone with no food plan, no supervision, and no working emergency funds. This isn't neglect adjacent. This is neglect. My mom's voice shook, not with fear but with rage. She ruined my life, she snapped. I needed a break. Karen nodded once. And she needed a parent. The court hearing happened fast. Faster than my mom expected. She tried to charm the judge. Tried to frame it as a misunderstanding. Parenting difference. A child being too sensitive. Then my notebook was entered into evidence. Then my videos. Then Mr. Hughes testified. So did the diner waitress who remembered how fast I'd eaten. So did the counselor who listened when I finally told the truth. The judge didn't interrupt. When he spoke, his voice was calm and final. Parental responsibility doesn't pause for vacations, he said. And children do not become independent because an adult wants freedom. My mom lost custody that day. Not forever, but long enough to matter. I moved in with my aunt, who lived 20 minutes from my school and cooked dinner every night without making a big deal about it. She didn't ask me to explain myself. She didn't call me brave. She just showed up. Weeks passed. Then months. My mom sent letters at first. Angry ones. Then quieter ones. Then none at all. I didn't write back. Because the revenge wasn't watching her face in court. It wasn't seeing her plans unravel. It was this going to bed full. Waking up safe. Knowing that if I disappeared, someone would notice. On my 12th birthday, my aunt handed me a small box. Inside was my notebook. The original one. She'd kept it safe. I thought you might want this, she said. I opened it to the first page. Evidence. I smiled, not because of what I'd survived, but because of what I'd proven. I hadn't been dramatic. I hadn't been weak. I hadn't imagined it. I'd been a child who told the truth. And the truth changed everything. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. If this story stayed with you, give it a like, it really helps the channel. Comment below. What would you have done in my place at 11 years old?